Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are going into game number 1 between Sen from Gamma Bears and QXG Inka, and I'm joined by none other than Total Biscuit. Total Biscuit, how are you, man?
Oh, absolutely peachy, Greetop. How about you?
I can't complain. I'm casting with the Total Biscuit. Of course, we have a great match coming in here. A PVZ starting out on Darim altar, and you know, Sen, such a freaking monster. I really hope that Inka brought his A game today, because he's going to need it, and right away I already know something crazy is going on. But I'll let you go ahead and introduce the players first.
Yeah, something crazy is going on, but ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the one and only Sen from the manliest team known to man, goes by the name of Gamma Bears. I'm terrified by the possibility of Gamma Bears attacking my garden at any moment, and he is in the blue trunks over here at the southwest of the Darim altar with his magical, wonderful 6-pool, and he is playing Zerg versus his opponent, a man who's about to get a nasty shock. He's from Team Quantic Gaming in the red trunks, playing Protoss. It's the one and only Inka to the southeast, and well, the 6-pool opening, a great way to start this series.
Yeah, sort of, but Inka's going to get very lucky. He's actually scouting to his opponent first. Once he sees the 6-pool, he will be able to react very accordingly. Just throws down a forge and gets up that cannon ASAP. He's probably going to actually forfeit his front, his natural, but there is the capacity for him to wall off completely. It's really tough, though. He's getting in there, and he sees the 6-pool.
Right, well, he's aware of what's going on, so it shouldn't be too hard to defend this, but we are talking about Sen's 6-pool here. This is not your standard everyday run-of-the-mill 6-pool. No, sir, it is not. Down goes the forge, and as you said, getting the complete wall off here is somewhat tricky, but getting a cannon up, not so much. I suppose we're about to find out one way or the other whether or not this is going to be effective. And why exactly do you think Sen would go for a 6-pool in the first, and I do mean the first match of this series? Is he perhaps being a little bit overconfident, or is this just a move to try and end the series nice and quickly?
I think it's just to end the series nice and quickly. It puts your player on tilt. Inka isn't a player known for going on tilt very easily, and what Sen is thinking is Darim altar is not really a map where you see rushes at all, so players get the fast nexus, things like that. Inka's going to be approached by these Zerglings, and Sen's going to be very sad to see this wall off.
Yeah, wall-off is complete. He doesn't really need to worry too much about that. The photon cannon are almost operational. He can nibble away and take the shields out of that gateway. If he manages to bust through this, it would be an absolute shock. Admittedly, he is going at quite the pace there, but that's nicely walled off there, even if that's broken. There doesn't look like there's a hole in that. He's going to take down one gateway, see if he finds a way through, and he does not. Nicely shut down there by Inka.
Yep, and Inka's going to get way ahead of that. If we can look at the income tab ever so quickly, it looks like it's only 11 harvesters to 10. That's deceiving, though, just because Inka is able to get probes so much faster with that chrono boost. Look at how much is charged up there. On top of that, he has a lot of his tech going already, a gateway and a forge. He has a very easy expansion to take, whereas Sen, he needs to be a little careful. I mean, he's so low on larva right now, and he's not able to produce anything but drones. It gives a huge tell to Inka exactly what to expect.
Well, I think that from Sen, what we're seeing here is the idea that Sen believes himself superior to his opponent. And I don't really blame him, honestly. Inka's PVZ is not exactly known for being his best matchup. In fact, statistically, it is his worst. So this is the kind of situation where, like, well, I could perhaps roll the dice and see if I can take an easy win. If I don't, I'm confident enough in my abilities to catch up. So even if this fails, I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, and look at this. Inka's already producing Zealots. Now, the Zealots give him capacity to actually go and attack, which forces the Zerg to make non-drone units. It allows his probe count, his harvester count, to soar above the drone count just because it's that indirect damage. It's the cost of having that hatchery, the mechanics of Zerg, and really affecting him. I like what Inka's doing with the chrono boost on the Zealots.
Yeah, Inka's showing a good understanding of where he can actually exploit his opponent's weaknesses right here and perhaps take Sen to task for his earlier arrogance. We'll find out just how effective that will be. I'd still be concerned, though. We're talking about Sen's control right here. Even if a few Zealots do end up getting in and he has to deal with nothing but Queens, drones, and a few Zerglings, I certainly wouldn't count Sen out of that engagement. In fact, it could turn around very unpleasantly on Inka if he's not careful.
Yeah, definitely, but you know, it is Inka's job right now to give the pressure a little bit, and there he goes with the 3 Zealots. he should just immediately go over there. And even if he doesn't do direct damage, as we were talking about before, the indirect damage is that what you're really looking for. He has the 2 nexus, he has the chrono boost to really pump up that economy. This attack is literally just an economic blow, and it's to have him have obviously the economic lead and the tech lead so he can just soar above his opponent and have that advantage going into the early mid game.
Absolutely. We saw Sen push out 3 drones right there and is now going to have to play a little bit defensively, pushing out nothing but Zerglings for the time being. He's got 2 queens up the front, however, and a good amount of damage initially from that. Looks for the surround, and down goes 1 queen. Will he be able to nail down Inka Zealots before they do too much damage? Look, take the 2nd queen out as well. That would be a massive economic blow, and down it goes. Sen with a cleanup there, but 2 queens taken out. That's going to give Inka a bit of an advantage going forward. We are, of course, lacking the ability not only to respond to this Stargate that's coming in, but of course to spawn plenty of lava.
Yeah, actually, that was a huge economic blow, as you said, at Total Biscuit. I mean, not having that much larva to be able to produce off things, even though it was an even trade, 3 zealots for 2 queens, it's the same amount of minerals. It just represents so much because the queen is needed for their mechanics. Now we can see that he's maybe 6 larvae behind because he missed injects. He's in a really, really terrible position, and Sen just keeps getting worse off and worse off in this game.
Yeah, well, what we've got here with Sen is he does have a slight drone lead since he was able to push out a bunch more. I believe an inject was actually landed before the engagement, which allowed him to push out some extra drones there, which will help him a little bit. He has a small harvester lead. He's got 2 queens back on the field right now, and he is going for lair tech. However, you can see that his Zergling speed very, very slow right there. He does now have 4 gas, which is nice, but he's going to have to deal with this double Stargate play right here.
Yeah, what a great combination attack. Let's talk about that a little bit. He went in with the zealots, killed the queens, which represents most of Sen's anti-air. There's no evolution chamber out. No, he's just actually getting it right now. He's listening to us, Total Biscuit. This is terrible from Sen. But Inka is going to do this combination attack, and I love this follow-up, getting double Stargate Void Rays. He'll be maxing up maybe even to 6, and then pushing out, surprising his opponent, and really overwhelming Sen if he doesn't have something like a Hydra Den.
Yeah, he's going to need something like that. He does have a Spire on the way, but the Spire's going to take a while, and honestly, you'd be better off with Hydra, as you were saying before, and of course with Spore Crawlers than you would with Spire units in this particular engagement. So I am concerned right now for Sen. I really, really am. He's gone heavy on the drones quite nicely there. He's gone triple Spine Crawler at the front, expecting some kind of follow-up ground attack, which isn't actually coming, and this is concerning. It really, really is. Sen is flying blind at the moment. He has no indication of air.
Yeah, Sen is actually doing some really cool stuff, though, to get back into this game. We can see in the top left-hand corner, there is a ninja expansion, but I like the spine crawlers being placed down, and I like the Muta choice. He knows he's behind, so he's just saying, okay, I need to take a couple risks. I'm going to go Mutas, try to outdo my opponent in terms of mobility. This is definitely a map where mobility reigns supreme. So go those Mutas, try to just outmaneuver my opponent, get those probe kills, get those little kills here and there, and then work my way back up into the advantage. With that Spire Tech, he can actually go Corruptors, which are okay. He is, in fact, getting Mutas, and with a double Stargate, this is going to be really tough to hold off any of the Stargate play with just mass Phoenixes coming out.
Yeah, that's really, really difficult, and yeah, the idea of going Corruptors is fairly reasonable. The question is, can you pump out enough at that stage in order to deal with this kind of air force? And these 10 Mutas are perhaps not going to do the job. We will find out one way or the other. The Mutas are going to try and engage the Phoenixes, but of course the Phoenixes easily outmaneuver them. Superior mobility and superior range. Now a lot of harassment potential as well. Those Queens are going to be nullified, and Sen's going to be hard-pressed to deal with this. Evolution Chamber looks like it's going to go down immediately. That will, of course, prevent any more Spore Crawlers coming in. Here come the Mutas, and nice grab right there by Sen, eliminating 1 Phoenix. A bit of miscontrol right here, but a nice bunch-up selection of Void Rays for those Mutas to do damage to, but you know what? It just is not quite enough, and while he was able to nail down 1 Void Ray, he did sacrifice a number of Mutas to make that happen, and reinforcements streaming in right now from Inka.
Yeah, and the only representation of air control is those Mutas. He needs Corruptors out ASAP. Corruptors deal very well. There's the pickup on the Queen, and he again removes more of Sen's anti-air.
Oh, Sen's just got supply blocks right now as well. That's definitely not helpful at all. Another Queen eliminated and another one. Muta's coming in doing as much damage as possible, but those Void Rays still sat on the field. Corruptor's getting in as close as they can, and now Sen going for the throw, trying to clean this up. It looks like he's going to get it as well. And I have to wonder if that investment was really enough there from Inka, because honestly, it didn't do a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, it's actually looking really tough. Now, actually, Inka actually able to clean up a lot of this stuff. The Overlords are just sitting over there, but thankfully the Spore Crawler came over there. He doesn't have a lot of air-to-ground attack now. He's relying heavily on just one Void Ray, and one Void Ray can be targeted down with a lot of different things. So, Inka has to regroup for now. It looks like he's just massing up in Phoenixes, which is still correct. We'll see, though. Income tab is showing very similar income.
Yes, it is. However, that's going to change quite shortly because of that ninja expansion you pointed out earlier. In the meantime, we do have this Phoenix harassment coming in. And of course, Corruptors don't do so well against Phoenixes. They take far, far too long to bring them down. And Inka can just snipe off Queens and drones with impunity.
Yeah, and this is just a great position for Inka. He can do exactly whatever he wants. He has complete map control. He knows exactly what his opponent is doing. And from here, what is he doing behind this? He's getting +1 weapons ground and blink, so he's transitioning actually to a heavy blink stalker play, and I like that again coming out from Inka. We know that Sen is very mobile. He's investing a lot in these mutas. The tech switch isn't there. He's been watching the whole time, so he can say, okay, I'm only up against air. Let me go something like blink stalkers, and that will take care of anything I have to worry about that's dangerous to me.
The concern that I've got is that Sen, in the meantime, has managed to sneak out 53 Zerglings with a +1 attack upgrade, and Blinkstorm's not exactly ideal against that kind of setup. No charging Zealots, he doesn't have +1 yet, and this timing, or indeed an anti-timing for Inka, could be a bit problematic. Now, Sen is scouting the front and deciding, yeah, I don't think so. That seems a little bit bad for me, and he's going to move out as quickly as possible, retreating there with that Zergling force, but he still does have a fairly large ground force, which is fairly mobile, and now Sen also taking a 4th up to the top.
Yeah, and what's bad about Inka is he hasn't scouted the 4th. He hasn't even scouted the 3rd. And a lot of times when you go Phoenixes, that's your #1 priority, to check out the map, see what's going on, see what's in your opponent's base. He's seen what's in his opponent's base, but he has not checked the rest of the map. And that is a very critical mistake. We can see the Phoenixes again trying to poke in here, but that's a lot of Corruptors, Shuttle Biscuit.
Oh, yes it is. 6 Corruptors and 12 Mutas. A nice little mixed air force right there by Sen, who is able to easily repulse that attack, taking 2 Phoenixes in the process. So a little bit of a costly engagement for Inka. And the thing is, as you said before, he's learned nothing. He's got all of this mobility and all of this scouting information, or indeed lack thereof. He thinks he knows what Sen is doing. He thinks he knows that Sen is bottled in on 2 bases. That is not the case. Sen is now on 4, and that's a big concern. Now, this big force coming in right here from Inka, however, is going to be difficult to deal with. Sen's going to have to back up, but in the meantime, I have to wonder how much damage is going to be done.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Those Spine Crawlers do represent a lot of damage, and there is a lot of surround potential with those Zerglings out in the field. I like what Sen does. He's just going to make sure that he has the counterattacking option to threaten his opponent, make sure that he can't just commit all into this. And he also has the option of sandwiching those Stalkers, making sure that they can't really blink away because they're just going to blink into more Zerglings. But here we go. Inka is going directly onto these Spine Crawlers.
Yes, he is. The standard 10, the Spine Crawler defense right here for Sen. Unfortunately, most of those are not complete. Throwing it, everything's got some corruption going on as well. Want to take out the Air Force, and here comes the Cavalry coming up from behind, but I don't know if that's going to be enough Zerglings. It'll certainly do an awful lot of damage. There's no real doubt about that. Drones coming off the line as well. If he's able to crush this, that'll be absolutely huge. Muta's tearing through it. Muta's countered to Stalker, apparently. Muta and Drone combination. Look at this cleanup right here by Sen.
Sen is a mastermind. I don't know how he does this time and time again. To think this actually started from a 6 pool, this is absolutely insane. Utilizing his drones, just buying himself time for all of those Spine Crawlers. He now has 8 Spine Crawlers up on the field, but it was enough already with just his army. All of Inka is in shattered pieces. I don't know what he can do from here, man.
Well, Inka just threw away a lot of resources. No real doubt about that. You can see the comparison. 11,000 resources down for Inka. Only 8,600 for Sen. Sen's now on 4 bases, and that very temporary drone disadvantage is immediately dealt with. Building 11 drones at a time. Upgrade to plenty as well. +2 melee and +2 on the flyer attacks as well. This is a Mutaling combination in the classic sense, with some Corruptors thrown in for a little bit of spice, which is actually helping him out quite a little bit. And now Sen will be able to move to deny any possibility of a third and potentially crush a second force right here from Inka.
Yeah, and Inka critically in that last battle didn't have Zealots. He does this time around. They are at 1-1, whereas Sen is only at 1-0, so they 2-shot the Zerglings and makes them a lot more manageable. But, as you said, the economic damage has been dealt already, so Inka is in a huge pickle. Where does he go from here? He's choosing to actually expand, play defensive. Little does he know that that top left exists, and he's going to... Oh, look at that observer, Turtle Biscuit. It's going to the top left. He's going to see it and be so sad.
Yeah, he smelled it. I have to wonder if he keeps going, honestly, and thinks maybe, is this the only one? I think he's going to see some creep spread and then figure out, oh, God, for all this time, he hasn't actually checked. He didn't see. Oh. That's interesting. He didn't see the creep actually connecting these 2 bases, so he doesn't know still about the Ninja expansion. So once again, he's been denied information, and Sen has been ahead of him this entire game, and Inka simply hasn't realized it.
Yeah, I think Inka, I mean, you can click on those mineral patches. That's what I do a lot of times. That's what a lot of programmer do, and you see, okay, it's only 1,400 minerals. It starts at 1,500. You just say to yourself, okay, it just started, I'm okay. But again, Inka is falling into this false sense of security, and it's hurting him. Now we can see Mutas coming in from the top, the bottom, and Zerglings on the top.
Oh yes, here we go. That's a large mutant count with a +2 upgrade as well. Able to slice through that. The cannons are absolutely worthless in that regard. Now he can start taking out production, taking out tech. He's going to force the Blink Stalkers to move backwards. However, Sen's Mutalist control is extremely dangerous, and he has 33 on the field, a huge number that could easily do damage to those Stalkers as well. Needless to say, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to take this nice transition. He's got Lings waiting. GG.
And that is going to do it for Inka. Sen taking game number 1. Total Biscuit, that was just so sick how Sen can transition into a standard game going 6-pool, man.
Yeah, well, that's Sen for you, isn't it? I don't think anyone's really surprised by Sen being Sen.
Yeah.
And it was, honestly, it was a roll of the dice, like I said before. If he happened to... say not get scouted, then that could have been an easy win right there. But Sen was obviously confident that he could take it against Inka, even if he got scouted. Inka got lucky, got the scout, walled off, and the pressure was able to nail down a gateway, so some damage was certainly done there, and it forced this perhaps overcautious wall off right there from his opponent. Then Inka goes for the counter-attack, which, as I said before, is cleaned up. He did do a lot of damage, and I think his transition was perhaps correct. The problem is that it's Sen. That's the real issue. I think if it was anybody else, that might have worked.
Yeah.
No, it's Sen. Sen was able to hold that extremely well. Good mix of units right there to deal with it, basically pumping out everything he possibly could. Grabbing Queens, grabbing Spore Crawlers, grabbing Mutas, grabbing Corruptors. He's saying, well, you know what, I was going to go for Muta Harassment anyway. Let's throw a few Corruptors in the mix to make this force a bit beefier against his air, clean up the air, and then slam down on my opponent. But that last hold was absolutely incredible.
There's 2 crucial things. I think Inka, if he added more Zealots in that last hold, he would have been a lot better. But still, even before that, preventing Sen from even doing that, he should have scouted with those Phoenixes. If he saw that top left base, the Void Rays would have taken that out. Inka would have been in a even bigger advantage, but unfortunately Inka waited so long for his time because he thought his opponent was only on 2 base and just sat there, let Sen really materialize off of that 3rd base, and that's what we had. So Sen's going to take game number 1. We're going to head over into game number 2 in a little bit. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be back after this break.